Forgot. All the practice. Should know not to come out here without some food for my friends. It's nice they don't forget me in my absence. Okay, come on. Grab a camera. There you go. Okay, let's get started here. First morning at the cabin, spring 2022. It's May 25th. It was so wet up here, different things going on, I held off coming in. Usually I was here, I've been here about 2 weeks by now, but here's the first morning. And these guys didn't take any time coming in. And one reason is that they already have a young bird flying around the camp here. If it shows up, it's all gray. They don't change the other plumage till later in the summer. So I was rather pleased to see that, but I got all kinds of jays around here. Saw 3 blue jays, 3 Canada jays, so pretty good birding activity. I'm thinking maybe those blue jays have been searching the trees around here and they're finding all sorts of food stashed. They're thinking, hey, this is a pretty good thing. Hopefully they're not going to come into my lap like the Canada jays are, but I actually picked up a extra camera so I can get into some fancy work here, you know. Maybe I can get a shot at this Canada jay young bird. Just picked this up at an auction. This camera's got a really good telephoto lens on it, so let's see what we can catch here. A lot of noise going on up there. To learn how to use this different camera. Buttons are different, things like that, but I think I'll get it figured out. But the nice thing about it is it's like a 30 power optical zoom on here, so it's going to work out nice. Picking out specific little things around the camp here. You can maybe add into the mix. About the mix is it's kind of going to be wet, so I was very surprised I was able to drive down the trail on the east side and get just over a mile away from the cabin. So that was a real bonus. I thought I'd be parking a couple of miles away and bringing a cart in through a lot of water, but the way it was fairly firm. I was able to drive in. I did have a few spots on the last trail coming in, that last mile. that if I had come on my regular time, I'm sure it would have been over my boots. But the way it was, my boots were high enough. I kept my feet dry, barely. And got in here, and see the chainsaw there. Of course, there's always some fresh trees to get down out of the way. They weren't too bad compared to what's been up here lately. So, looking around here, things are looking good. I think I'll go ahead and have a brunch. Got a few brats thawed, and I started the wood stove this morning. It's a little chilly, and so I got some coals to roast those brats up. And got me a cherry pie in there, a few cookies. So I'll go ahead and get fortified. Then we're gonna head out for a hike and see what's around. The weatherman says we're going to have off and on rain for the next 4 days, Saturday through the Memorial Day weekend and even into Tuesday. So I've got my vehicle down here pretty close to the end of where we normally drive, but there's some wet spots between here and high ground, so I'm gonna go out and park it on a safe place. And I sleep a lot better at the cabin when the rain's pounding on the roof, if I know that my vehicle is out doing okay. This is where I stopped on the way in because I knew it was soft and mushy through there, so that's only going to get worse. But I can backtrack from here, and then I'll hike back in and pick up my cart and go on to the cabin for some more days. We have about 2 miles of this trail that comes in from the gravel forest road. And some of it, well, in fact, the majority of it is really good like this. It's high ground and it's nice and solid. No worry about getting any water accumulating. But as we come around this next curve, the land's going to drop down into boggier, wetter stuff, and that's where the real problems arise. I've talked about that old farmhouse we had about 30 miles away, and in the early days when we had both, every time I came back here, well, I had all these rock piles that the previous homesteaders and stuff had accumulated around that little farmstead. And I always brought back about 1,000 to 1,500 pounds at a time. Well, over the many trips, I've got a lot of that stone laid in here, and the reason I can sneak through here like this is because I know where I put all the rocks. There's some old previous ones, some big boulders stuck up. I got to be real careful, like right there, that I don't hit it too hard and take out an oil pan. But the clearance is really good in this Subaru Outback, so I think we're in good shape now. We got a decent spot here, and I know that I'm just best off to kind of stay right in the center because, again, that's where I put all the rocks. I oftentimes try to straddle the wet holes, but in these cases here where I know the bottom, even though it might look like it's a wet hole, I know it's solid rock. I stay right in the rut. Let's see, as we come up to this, I know it's solid underneath. People who don't know the road might wonder, what's a crazy guy from Illinois doing driving that lane? One more spot here. I know I have to stay to the right because I don't have any rocks laid over there on the left and probably sink out of sight. Now, I think that somebody years ago dumped a lot of big boulders into this spot. I don't think there's that many laying there naturally, but you can feel that we're rolling and thumping going over them. Yeah, they're really good ones to take out an oil pan if you're don't have the clearance or you go too fast. Now we got one more little lane going across here, but it's old corduroy, and again I've laid enough rock in that I know I'm only going to go down so deep. And here, I had to make this across there, and the other locals, they call that Martin's Cadillac trap, because somebody comes flying up. The lane's pretty good ahead of us, you can see them. They hit that too hard and kaboom. We're good to go now. Animal Crossing. I'll get up on top of this big open area here. I think I'll stop and see if I have, well, maybe I'll go on to the next little knoll. Got some trees in the way here, so I'm gonna, what my goal is to get up at a high open spot, just a mile or so north of the cabin, and hopefully I should have cell phone coverage. I can call Vonnie and find out about this tornado that was over the top of our house the other night while she was holed up in the basement. A little higher area here, you can even see we got jack pines growing. That means higher and sandier, and yeah, here we're gonna get a little more elevation here. Be able to go out looking over the top toward where I think there's some cell phone towers up that way, so we'll see what we got here. Whenever I'm filming like this inside the cabin, the second camera I got seems to have a lot wider angle lens on it. If you notice, you get a bigger view of the cabin. Makes it look really big, but at least you can see what's going on. But I do have a hard time focusing all the time or seeing what I got framed up, so I can line it up with some of these mirrors I have around, and I can stand here and I can see what I'm looking at. Now that clicked out. There, it's back on again. Might be a little steamy in here. We've been working on water all morning. It doesn't take too long for those Corningware pots to come to a boil inside that enclosure on this Jodel 606 stove. See what I mean? Go out and re-aim that bucket. Well, it didn't take long to fill that one up. Better go out and get the other one hooked up. Now we got the real rain barrel in action. What a difference an hour can make. Even the Canada Jays have found the chicken leftovers that I put out this morning. You know, turn that camera on every night. Just curious if anything does come walking by here in the night. I've never caught anything out here like that, but I'm just curious. There's got to be something snooping around as I sleep. Had the fire going, so good chance to roast up a couple of brats. Hear the blue jays calling that way. See the young Canada jays are flying around out here. They must not be trained up yet on what it means when a martin cooks a chicken. Shouldn't take them long though.